Hey, welcome to the Tim and Gugabe podcast. It's been a long time, Gugabe. We're going to talk about UFC 317 International Fight Week. I haven't talked to you forever. How's everything going? And of course, we're late. Your bike's probably shitty. Just classic, nothing's changed.
Yep, have to keep up the branding. Yeah, I'm taking along. Life's pretty good. How's
Yeah,
exciting life in the Midwest?
it's been good. I've been so busy. So even though I blame the podcast going, you know, going dim because of you, because you just had to go have a baby. But I've been too busy anyway, so I wouldn't have been able to do much. But everything's good though. Just busy. Fun, some decent cards lately, but I feel like they have some shit. I enjoy every card just because I feel like whenever you have like action on cards, it makes it entertaining. But there's actually a pretty good card this weekend. Have you had any like decent like plays hit lately?
Yeah, I had some decent stuff. Last week was pretty good. I had Curry pretty big. I also had Maxim, which is a bit annoying, but oh well. But yeah, Curry managed to cover everything else in that card for me, which was nice. Um, yeah, it's been ticking along. Good cards, but yeah, I do feel like the sport seems to have found itself in a bit of a weird niche these days, but it's still entertaining. It's still fights are fights, really.
Yeah, for sure. I think they haven't had any like real good pay-per-views for a while, but like I don't know, when they have a good card, I think that Abu Dhabi card coming up, or is that where is it again? Somewhere in the Middle East coming up is a really good one. And this card's pretty fun.
Yeah, Whitaker, Ridder,
Yeah, that's a really good
Whitaker
card.
versus Ridders in Abu Dhabi.
The main card here is like pretty damn good, like all action fights. But yeah, let's just get to the top of it. Let's start talking Oliveira Topuria. I'll let you go first here.
I think Topuria is good. I think that he's giving up a lot of size, and Oliveira is arguably the greatest finisher in the sport's history, which kind of gives him a decent floor. I don't know, like Topuria is tricky to me because I think he's very offensively potent, like as a hitter, but I feel like his defense isn't really that great, and he's giving up a lot of size going up here. And like, yeah, Oliveira is obviously a massive flake, and if Topuria gives him bad eye contact, he can always just wilt and get TKO'd. But I feel like minus 500 in this dynamic is a bit much. Like, how many people ever are really going to be minus 500 against Charles Oliveira at lightweight at this point in his career? Like, guy is just generically dangerous everywhere. Like, it's just hard to cover with that dynamic. Um, yeah, I'm not going massive on him, but I think like the Oliveira for like Yin or so, just kind of got to hit it. Tapiria's submission also seems kind of big, so it's like Oliveira, yeah, he's fragile, but he tends to be more of a quitter than like just getting actually put out. So sub plus 700 versus KO minus like 200, I think you got to hit the sub instead, just because I think it's a decent chance Tapiria just finds a guillotine or an arm triangle or whatever. Um, yeah, like I think Topuria is good, but I just feel like the people are kind of going a bit nuts with the power rankings off the Volkanovski and Holloway wins. Like, don't get me wrong, those are incredible wins, but like they were both super competitive minute wise, and like Oliveira is just a fundamentally different kind of fighter. Like, he's just a lot more dangerous than those two.
Yeah, I have a lot of your similar opinions. I do think Topuria will probably get it done here, just because he is a really heavy hitter. He can probably keep it
Yeah,
there. And my guess is he can probably he can put Oliver away, and he probably will. But I do. The size does worry me, not even just in this matchup, but in general. Like Toporia's kind of dude. He's kind of a midget. Like he's 5'7" at lightweight. That's given up a lot of size. And I do think like the jump from 145 to 155 in power is like quite a difference. Like is he going to be as massive of a hitter up here? Like maybe he is. Like he'll definitely maintain. He'll have some speed up here for sure, but it might translate really well. But I do think there's a chance like that power advantage goes away a little bit. But we'll
cool.
see. Like Topuria is a very very good fighter. And yeah, like I think he'll win here, but I do want to see how he like kind of transitions to lightweight. I think it's kind of interesting.
Yeah, like I'd be fine with like minus 250. Topuria, like, yeah, I think Topuria most likely wins. I just think that minus 500 is just like, yeah, it's and not even like I've heard Topuria like actually had to take a serious look at his strength of schedule. It's like he's kind of avoided hitters for the most part, and like with his style, it's just like him just swapping bombs with people, and generally he's just like yeah, Holloway and Volkanovski are good wins, but neither of them are exactly like massive singular hitters themselves, and they were like perfectly competitive for minutes. Like,
Yeah,
you
he
know,
just
somebody was always eventually going to kill those guys. Like, it. I'm not saying Taboo is bad. It's just like I feel like people are acting like those were two like 50-42 absolute shutout, like the demolitions of both those guys. And it's like, I don't know, you know, he landed a big shot while having a competitive fight. Like, yeah, he probably finds a big shot more often than not against those guys. But I don't think, yeah, it wasn't like it was some John Jones Shogun kind of thing where he just came out and absolutely fucked them.
Yeah, I do agree with like the big hitter. Like Josh Emmett was really the only one. Like luckily he kind of just evaded those strikes, you know, so his chin wasn't really tested. But like here's who he's fought. None of them have power. Yusuf Zalal, Damon Jackson, Ryan Hall. I mean,
It's literally mostly grapplers. Like on the way up, it was just like guys you could just shut down takedowns and he wins.
like the least collective, like you know, like hitters ever. Zalal, I suppose, has some pop occasionally, but not really. Like Bryce Mitchell, not a hitter. Jai Herbert hurt him and not even really a hitter. Emmett's definitely a hitter, so good on him to avoid that. But I do agree. Like, and then Holloway and Volkanovski are very good, but they're not powerful. So it will be interesting to see if like he can't just bully guys up at lightweight. But I think he's very, very good. But I do think like he hasn't faced some matchups down there that he will up here. So it'll be interesting to see how it plays out. But as far as this play, like I do think he'll get it done. I like doesn't start round 4 at like you can get like minus 200 to 220, and I just feel like that number should be higher. You know, I just feel like these guys are both really aggressive, and I just feel like this ends inside 3 rounds at like a 75% clip. So that's something I wanted to point out. But let's go to the co-main event: Pantoja and KKF. Good fight. What do you think here?
Yeah. I think I've taken some Pantoja sub. I just feel like KKF has like very bad like KKF's first layer is fine, but when he tends to give up the back pretty easily, and like I just feel like there is like I can't see Pantoja covering his money line without the sub being value, and I can see Pantoja struggling a lot, and the sub still looks value kind of a thing. Like I just like conditional probability wise, like sub plus 220 and Pantoja minus 200, minus 250. Like I'd much rather have the sub slip than the money line slip. I don't know. It's like a weird one. It's like I can see how KKF could give him issues in space, but also just feels like a takedown is fight all round, and like Pantoja could just like Kai doesn't do anything. It doesn't do much standing. So if Pantoja wins like a close striking round by just enthusiasm existing at him, it's just like it's quite plausible. But Pantoja is kind of like this Glover Teixeira run, like this whole like championship run from him, apart from Asakura, who just kind of like Asakura is not like top 20 flyweight. Like everybody else is just like Glover Teixeira fights. So like I just feel like sooner or later Pantoja is gonna get knocked out very brutally, and so I don't really want to play minus 200. But I think the sub at plus 200 is a good spot. Like, and it's like it's kind of a meme where Kai Kara France every single fight gets like deep rear naked choked, and then his opponent just gasses the fuck out. It's just how KKF operates, and like if you're gonna get like everybody, it's back takes on KKF, and if Pantoja is in the back, like surely he's gonna find it if anybody's ever gonna actually choke him out.
Yeah,
What's your take?
I have a pretty similar take. I think KKF, like I do think Pantoja can get the back here. I don't think it's as easy as like I don't think. You know how there's some fights where like Pantoja gets the back every round? I don't think that's going to be the case. Like I think it'll be a little more difficult than that because KKF like has pretty decent takedown defense, and he can scramble up quickly and fight the hands. But it's more when he gets settled down there. You can kind of take advantage of that. But I do see like some decent ability to kind of scramble back up to his feet. So. But the issue is like even on the feet, it's pretty close. Like KKF kind of ass pulled that Ursig fight. Like I didn't think he looked good in those exchanges, really, you know. And he kind of just landed a knockdown. And even like I mean, I know KKF. I thought he beat Elbazi, but like Pantoja can keep the fight competitive standing, you know. But yeah, Pantoja has more past to victory. He has some grappling upside. I think he's a rightful favorite, but I could see this being a thing where KKF like gets 3 or 4 rounds of striking and wins like a split decision, you know? And Pantoja's durability is like epic, but I do think Pantoja is going to get knocked out soon, you know? I feel like his like time is coming, but overall, yeah, like Pantoja's slight favorite, I think is fine. Anything else to add there?
Yeah, pretty much. Like, I just feel like there is going to be a fight sooner or later where Pantoja just gets knocked the fuck out or just looks horrendous. And like I think he could be. I think like his price is fine, but I just feel like there's like a 1 in 10 chance you just feel like an absolute idiot because KKF just destroys him instantly or something, and or Pantoja just gets hit in the face very hard, like at will. Like it's got to come eventually, but. Yeah,
I
decent
think
fight.
Him just getting knocked out and beat up on the feet is going to come at some point, but he's looked great. He's had a great run. A really good fight here, Van and Royval. It's basically a pick'em. Great fight. Van's taking it on short notice, although I don't think it's going to be an issue for him. He fought pretty recently, a few weeks ago. What do you think here?
I took some dog Van when it was all briefly flashed. I just think Van has more upside. Like Royval has a style which is very good for keeping him in fights. But like he never really covers any numbers against anybody. Just how Royval is. Like he's one of these guys who's more like hard to beat than is like really firmly elite. Like and I feel like the market always struggles with guys who just flip coins. Because like if the guy wins 3 in a row, inevitably they're a genius, they're god, and now they're minus 1,000 against people. If they lose 3 in a row, they suck, kind of a thing. It's like some of these guys just Royval just pushes the pace in and out. I get the takes that Royval will be busier on the outside and Van could take some time to warm up, but I feel once Van's kind of got him, I just can't see Royval keeping him off. Like I got plus Van. Like I think if the current pricing, you're probably better off looking for live Van because Van can take a couple minutes to get rolling, and if Royval puts up like 40 leg kicks or something in round 1 and just keeps working, I think it could be a thing. But I don't know. I just feel like if anybody's really, really gonna assert themselves in this fight, it's probably gonna be Van. So I think Van's the side personally. Under's also not bad just because pace, but like you're getting a lot of fight for plus under.
Yeah, my lean is probably to Van too, because I do think his strikes are a little more eye-catching too. You know, like that Royval fight against Moreno, like he didn't land anything. It was just the reason why like Moreno didn't win is because he wasn't busy at times where Van won't do that, you know? And but the main concern I have for Van is a lot of like his success is kind of like gassing guys out, you know? Like he's had fights where he's been getting outstruck early, and Royval's got great cardio. So I actually kind of think this is just going to be a really close fight. I think it's just going to be a really competitive striking fight. And this is a big step up for Van. Like I know Van has looked great, but he's been beating like Bruno Silva, Tessoria, Durden, and Chirez. It's like Royval is such a better striker than them. So I do think the chances of like him taking up a step up in competition, all of a sudden, like he's not he doesn't look all of a sudden he's not some dominant guy breaking the elite, you know? Like that is what I'm worried about. And so I kind of think this is going to be close, but I do think Van like consistently will probably he lands like very effectively. Like his strikes like mean something, where Royval does a lot of like wasted volume. Like he literally stole a fight against Moreno by like shadow boxing and hitting air, you know?
Yeah.
And because even Van versus Johnson, like Johnson is probably the best striker he's faced, and Johnson isn't like an elite striker. and he got outlanded in that fight, like 88-67, and like it was competitive. Like I thought Van was winning early, but like I think this is going to be close. Like I'm not as like slam dunk Van's aside as other people seem to be, because his competition, he's more so like relied on beating like a couple grappling dependent fighters lately, like Durden and Ray, you know. And then Bruno Silva is just not a volume guy. It's just like a guy Van can break. And so I think this is going to be close. Like I wouldn't even play Van even money. I think it's going to be a very, very close fight. That's kind of my take.
I agree with you. I just feel like flyweight's a very sort of broad division. I just feel like a lot of these guys, even if they're like a tier below Royval, would probably have like super competitive fights with Royval. Like to me, it's like flyweight is like there's like Pantoja, Carp on a good day, Moreno on a good day, and the top like the top 3 flyweights, and then there's just like 30 people, and like it's like welterweight used to be, where you just had a bunch of like. If you take a serious look at Royval's like resume, it's just like it's a lot of split decisions and like ridiculous, like crazy wars and that kind of stuff. And it's just like, I think he's had. I feel like Royval's probably had like a 85th percentile career in terms of like his style. Like again, credit to him, he brings a fight to you and he's always in the fight, and like that will give you the opportunities. They'll give you the chance to be in these fights, but it just feels like if he drops like 1 or 2 split decisions, or like KKF just lands slightly better or something, or he doesn't hit that crazy spinning elbow or something, like Royval probably just never picks up the momentum. And, like Royval's career has just been like super, super low margin. Like, I gut feel for me is I just feel like if anybody's going to get the KO or really pull away, I think it's going to be Van. That's kind of the thing for me. And I think Johnson versus Royval is a perfectly competitive fight. Like I think Royval versus Bruno Silva is a competitive fight. Like I'm not saying that Royval would be like even money, but like if you made Royval Johnson tomorrow, I'd make Royval like -200 at the best. Like they just have like a crazy high paced flyweight war. Like
Royval does have some danger to him, though. I will say that. Like Van was knocked dead by Charles Johnson, and other than that, like Van hasn't faced that many like dangerous guys. Like Royval does have some, like he's got some pop on the feet, you know.
Yeah.
He does. Like I think it's close, man. Like I'm not. Van seems to be a really popular play, and like honestly, like I mean, I think it's going to be super competitive. Like he could win like a. Like he definitely can win, but I have a feeling it's just going to be very tight, because this is a step up. Like you can say that how Royval doesn't pull away in fights. I think that's totally fair, but half of his UFC career has literally been Pantoja Moreno, and so
sure.
Like that is one thing you have to keep into account. Like he beat the fuck out of KKF back in the day, and
he kind of did, but like he got knocked down instantly, and he had the world's craziest spinning elbow, and KKF's always just kind of been a flake. Like
he kind of paced him a bit, and then started hurting him, and then he kind of panicked to do a guillotine. But yeah, like I know like Royval hasn't had that many tit for tat striking fights, so it's kind of that's interesting. Like the ones he's had was like Moreno, and Moreno's very good. So like that's an impressive win. I think he stole it a bit because the judges decided to give it to him, and I also thought like it wasn't deserved, and he was kind of taking advantage of Moreno just not doing things in pockets. But yeah. Anyway, I think we talked about it a lot. I think we're gonna get a split decision there, personally.
Dariush
Moicano, what do you think here?
I feel like I took some dog Dariush this time. Like last time was like +220, and like everybody in the world was max betting Dariush. I just feel like they're both fragile. Dariush's process is way better. If Dariush dies, he dies. But like, I just feel like it's a stupid glass cannon fight, and Dariush has all the grappling upside. Can dig deeper, probably hits harder. Yeah, again, like Dariush is old and fragile, so I'm not going to make him like minus 500 or anything like that. But I think Dariush minus 150, minus 300 is reasonable in this kind of situation. Like Moicano's lightweight run has just kind of been just insane fights. Dariush's run has also been insane fights. Dariush more reliable to get on top. I think Dariush's cardio more reliable. Yeah, like, I think it's a very fun fight. This is like, I think whatever happens, it'll be hilarious. So I just think less has to go right for Dariush. I also think Dariush sub at like plus 900 is kind of crazy. Like, I just think in this kind of fight, like literally any method of victory can happen. So I might as well take the widest one.
I think Dariush is pretty much better everywhere. It's just kind of like, what form is he in? Like when they're speaking, I like Dariush. You know, when they're at their best striking, I think Dariush is a little better. He's definitely a better wrestler and a submission grappler. Way better defense.
Well, I just feel like most of like the fragility and the gassiness complaints about Dariush also apply to Moicano. So I'm just like, it's not like this is like a durable guy against a non-durable guy. This is just a glass cannon. Like,
Moicano also, like, watching whenever RDA just owned him on the mat, he hasn't had many guys who've been able to just he hasn't fought many like good offensive wrestlers except like RDA who owned him, and then Islam, and it's like, well, Islam's another tier, but still, I don't think Islam would have done that to Dariush, you know. Dariush is a really, really good defensive grappler, and I think he's a better wrestler too. Like, he also out-wrestled CDF, you know, like good CDF too. That was when CDF was like in his prime. So yeah, like Dariush is probably past it, but so is Moicano. So I'll take the guy who's probably just better technically when they're, you know. But yeah, glass cannon fight for sure. Peyton Talbot and Felipe Lima, another good fight. What do you think here?
I find Peyton Talbot so weird because it's like he was kind of like a pace guy before he had the Simon fight. That's turned out Simon just has no chin. And like, for me, Peyton Talbot was like a fun like sideshow, and the Simon fight made him look like he was Francis Ngannou. And then it's just like, wait, maybe Simon just doesn't have a chin. And Felipe Lima like tries him super hard. I think if someone's getting a takedown, it's probably Lima. I don't know. I think it's a competitive war. I feel like Lima small, medium favourite seems fine. I never really got on board the Talbot hype train. I think his bottom game is a big enough issue, but it's just like if he gives up takedowns, probably round. So I think Lima, 60% seems fine to me. Like, I haven't done like deep tape on this, but I just find Peyton's grappling hold just distracting enough. And unless you're going to assume that he's just like super powerful and can just kill Lima at any moment. I was kind of looking at the under, but I just feel like this is going to be super scrappy. Neither of them going to get tired. It's just going to be them just bombing each other. Yeah, fun fight. Like, I'm interested to see what happens, but I don't really have a huge betting thing. And I feel like every time I try to catch the knife on a guy like Peyton Talbot, he just goes 0-3 from there, and like he never knocks anybody out ever again. Just historically, I just have this trend of trying to catch knives on guys like this, and it always goes Adrian Yanez style. It never goes any other way. Yeah, it's not bad.
Yeah. This is like, I think Talbot might be getting a tad disrespected. Like, clearly he can get his back taken and beat there. So like, yeah, like he could lose this fight. But I also think Barcelos is like way more tenacious of a grappler than Lima. Like, Barcelos attempted, what was it, like 15 takedowns in that fight, you know? And really optimized his win condition. And he like chains things together and pushes more of a pace where Lima will kind of distance strike a little more and kind of shoot singular shots. Like, he'll shoot like, 5 takedowns in a fight. Like, maybe he shoots more here, but that's kind of what he's kind of the pace he's generally historically shown. So I could see it like that maybe not being enough, where you're like, if you're on Lima, you're like, why aren't you grappling enough? So, because on the feet, I think like Talbot's still bigger here, hits harder. Lima's still technical and maybe better defensively on the feet, so it could be close. But also, Lima doesn't put in body triangles as much, so I could see Talbot like getting up because of that, where Barcelos kept maintaining position because he was snatching in body triangles. So I actually think it's probably more dog or pass here, but I'm not like I'm not confident Talbot wins because like a body triangle could turn into a sub or a round, you know. But I still think like Talbot might be getting too much shit for that Barcelos fight, and Lima outstruck two grapplers basically. Like Naimov can kind of strike, but he's more, you know, low volume and things. Like Talbot is way different, and then like Talbot compared to Miles John striking is like hilarious. So Talbot could just like be better on the feet, you know? And so I could see ways for this going like wrong for Lima. So I personally think it's probably dog or pass, but like not a big opinion on who wins, but I would stay away from the Lima juice there personally.
I think it'll be fun. It's just my concern is the grappling hole, and I just hate playing like a plus 150 and it's just like, oh, he got taken down. Fight's over.
And maybe Lima is just like, fuck it, and goes all out for it and just gets a couple back takes and stuff. But again, I don't think his like body triangling game is as good as Barcelos. So that could be an issue. Like it might not be as easy for him to ground Talbot as people think. Because Talbot will, like, he's not great, but he will try to work up, you know, like he does try to get up. There's a reason Barcelos took him down 8 times. It's because he did get up at times, you know? But yeah, any other like plays on the or spots on the prelims you want to talk about?
I like Araujo. I think that I'm kind of shocked that like Cortez has gone from being plus 220 against Rose over 5 rounds to being minus 230 against Araujo over 3 rounds. Like that makes literally 0 sense against the same fighter. I just don't think like Cortez, like Araujo's issue is once she gets put in the back and put like behind on the pace, she's kind of fucked. But that's not really Cortez. Like Cortez isn't like a Rebus or something who could really stable on you. Like I just think Araujo is just going to kind of compete very well there. Like I think Araujo could just kind of just. I just can't see Cortez. Like maybe Cortez gasses there, but that number is insane to me. Like Cortez isn't even that urgent to grappler. Yeah, should be a fun fight. It's hard to Emil. I think a bunch of people are on just because like Jose Delgado's hyped, but Emil is the man. So you have to take plus money when you can. Yeah, we love Harder Emil in this community.
What do you think of Hermanson Rodriguez?
I mean, like, I love Jackie Manson, but my gut feel is like, unless Rodriguez gasses or just like loses the world's stupidest outside split decision, I just can't see what Hermanson can do to him before he I just feel like Rodriguez is going to win until he either gets tired or maybe Hermanson like somehow takes a round by just doubling him up with leg kicks or something. The physicality gap is just so big. That's kind of my take. Like, I'm rooting for Madsen to do it. And Rodriguez is like, if anybody is going to botch this and like gas out or something, it's going to be Gregory Rodriguez. So I'm not going to advocate for minus 200, but it also feels like Madsen's just drawing quite thin.
I think just like look to live spot Hermanson. And then if he's just getting killed enough where you're like, oh, he's too far behind, you're good. But like,
I agree.
I wouldn't lie. I wouldn't pre-play Rodriguez. Like Hermanson's pretty fucking good, and like he will have a cardio.
He's a good weasel.
Oh yeah. Like, I mean, that outside, like if Rodriguez can't get him down and all of a sudden gets in like an outside, like kicking game, like that Curtis performance, I know Rodriguez is a lot different than Curtis and he's a lot like taller and bigger, but that outside like performance against, Curtis was like very impressive where I'm like, that could happen, and then like there's a cardio, there's like a cardio path too. And Hermanson's just good, so it's probably a dogger pass again, but like I'd rather like watch around because Rodriguez probably will hurt him early, like regardless of who wins, just because he is like really like the way Rodriguez was just bowling around Cannonier for the first round was kind of insane. Like I know he eventually gassed, but like who does that to Cannonier for a round? Like as far as like physicality goes,
And even then, it was like Rodriguez gassed, then Cannonier gassed. When Rodriguez had a second win and was kind of cruising, then Cannonier killed him. Like I felt like I had Cannonier like live at like some crazy number, and I was like, oh shit, like is Rodriguez get pulled this away? Then Cannonier found the big elbow or something. I'm actually shocked that like Hermansson's 4 years older than Rodriguez. I would not have picked that. Gregory Rodriguez is only 33. Like what?
Yeah, he looks
Like
like he's
how is
7 years old. Yeah.
Yeah, he feels like he's like an immortal, like, yeah, he's like one of these guys who's just like a fantasy creature or something. Like, yeah, how is Gregory Rodriguez only like 33 years old? Like, that's actually blowing up. Because I was checking Jackie Manson's age. It's like, oh, he's been off for a year and a half. He's like 37 and he's like a pace guy. So do I really want to play a 37-year-old pace guy? Then I looked at Rodriguez's age and I'm like, what, 33? Are you serious?
Yeah, he looks like he could be like a retired veteran in Gladiator or something, you know? Like he looks like he's like 55 years old.
Yeah, I was not expecting that.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, we'll kind of leave it at that. Good. It was good to like kind of get this going again. How's the baby going too? How old is she now?
Yeah, she's ticking along. She's almost 15 months. I think it's next couple of days.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
She's ticking along.
Talbot's good. Yeah, ticking along, talking, walking. Yeah, pretty much overtaken Magic in terms of literacy and education, so it's all good.
Oh man, hopefully Magic's listening right now. Cool, man. All right, well, I'll let you go. We got through the card and a couple of the good prelim fights, but thanks for joining all. It was good to get back here and kind of shoot the shit a little bit. So have a good weekend.
Gotcha. Have a good one. Thanks for listening.